Hi, Wayne. I see you made it. Just want to check your audio if you wouldn't mind unmuting.
How's that?
Yep, I can hear you. Yep. Getting it. I think I'm getting slight feedback. Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on a desktop. Well, I'm on a laptop.
That sounds better. Okay, you sound good.
Well, I got a split screen, so I had the video up on my other screen. So
That's probably what it was.
Or not.
Well, it sounds good now. Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir. What kind of vehicle is the record covered for?
So Honda Civic, I think the Civic Accord is more.
Usually not.
Can you hear me, Josh?
Check with me. That's the Lifeguard 12. Inbound from Augusta County scene, approximately 18 minutes to the east helipad going to the.
So, Wayne, I just muted you just due to the radio traffic. I just want to let you know. Hey, Josh, you're muted.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Are you hosting?
I'll be hosting the meeting.
We get up and running.
Well, it looks like we're definitely up and running. Just want to let you know that we are streaming this on our social channels and sent to our Boxcast streaming service. And that is occurring now. So we are live.
Angela, Bravo, just to advise you, you're on.
Hey,
So one thing I can do is control the. I'm trying to mute Wayne. There you go, Wayne. I would just say if there's going to be radio traffic that we just keep muted until you're speaking, just so we don't have that distraction. If that makes sense to everybody.
What do you mean by radio traffic? Oh, you hearing my scanner?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Super loud.
Yeah, I'll turn that down.
Oh, well, that will help. Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, no problem. This is the first time I've used Zoom. So
congratulations. You were successful.
Yeah. I thought you could see everybody.
Well, you can turn your camera on. Do you see in the lower left hand, you see a camera icon?
See start video.
Go ahead and hit that.
Okay. So that's got me on it.
And now we got you.
Okay. But no, I was talking about I thought I could see like you and Josh and everybody all at once.
So if you look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, do you see a view button?
Yeah.
If you click on that, you can switch from gallery to speaker view.
So upper right-hand corner, click on it. It doesn't change anything. It just shows me you. Do I right click?
Tell you what I'll do is.
Mine's in the upper left-hand corner. It says you can switch back and forth between gallery view and active speaker. Like when you hit the drop down, it gives you that option.
Yeah, I don't have a drop down. My upper left has got a green checkbox says you are using enhanced encryption.
Well, I just turned my video off, Wayne. So what are you seeing now?
Just me and a Charlottesville logo.
So when you click that view icon, you're not seeing a gallery?
The view icon,
selection?
you talking about like the 4 arrows that's together?
Yes.
Nope. If I click it, it just gives me a button in the middle of my screen to exit full screen. That just makes me go to full screen.
Oh, that is the full screen. Okay, so are you on a desktop, you said, or an iPad?
Laptop.
Laptop. So get out of full screen.
Yeah, I am.
And now do you see that view icon?
No.
Okay. You might have another version of Zoom, so your interface might be a little different than a more updated Zoom version. But
Yeah,
I
I
can work
couldn't
with you.
use what you guys sent because it kept saying it would harm my computer if I downloaded the file.
Okay, I can work with you offline on that, Wayne. But why don't we go ahead and start the meeting, since I think we have everybody here, Josh, is that accurate? If you click on your participants icon at the bottom of your screen, you'll be able to see all the panelists here for the meeting.
Yeah, I only see 5 of us. Are we missing? Is Rob not participating today?
So I received an email from Rob saying that he is no longer on the board.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, but
I just, I received a list from Tina, and we have two positions. One is a citizen alternate, and the other one is towing industry rep. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that's what Rob sent an email for. So I guess we got open positions.
hey Buzz, you know anything about Rob's status?
Yeah, I know I think he stepped away 2 or 3 weeks ago. I want to say he stepped away from this board and maybe his other boards he was involved with.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have you all recording now and streaming, so I think my job is done, but I will be staying on as a moderator and just make sure everything goes smoothly for you guys. But I'll unmute now and let you guys carry on.
Good deal. Okay. Let me try and see if let's see, host disabled attendee screen sharing. Am I able to share a screen so we can kind of look at the same draft together?
Sure, let me enable that.
Hey Teresa, what's up with Allison? Is she not?
She's busy. She wasn't gonna make this meeting, so that's why I'm here.
Try
Okay.
that, Buzz.
Got it. All right.
That work?
Did. And in doing this, I realized I've shared screen on a lot of these different platforms. I don't know if I've done on Zoom before, so I'm going to try to share this document.
Yeah, it should bring up multiple panels when you click the share screen.
Sure. All right.
Oh, there's a button to raise your hand.
Here we go. Okay. I think I got it now. Share. Slowly but surely. All right. Can you guys see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was thinking, and I guess Josh and Wayne, tell me if you have something different in mind. This is the draft, and I think I kicked it out to everyone, of what we had last gotten confirmed by Allison in her office. So kind of got the legalese processed through on our last version of edits. And so I thought we might just go through that as a reminder. If you look at the date here, between COVID and other things, it's been a minute. What her group did was a pretty good job of noting what's changed here from just what exists today in the ordinance. And so I thought we might be able to go through that, kind of confirm that we still feel the same way, that this is what we'd want to put before council, maybe as a first pass, and then can talk about other areas of the ordinance that we might want to take a look at in future meetings.
Works for me.
Cool.
I still don't agree with it.
Because Wayne, your feedback was you wanted to start from the beginning.
I mean, I would say that'd be a good place because now that Rob's gone and there's no other towing company that wants to get involved with it because it's a joke. So, I'm 100% in it for me now. I don't care about anybody else. Don't nobody want to come help. I'll sit down and nitpick this thing and do it all myself and do it all for me and my company. That's the way I see it. I've tried and had meetings and talked with people, and I can't get no support from the other towing companies. So they're all out on Avon. They ain't even in the city of Charlottesville. And according to the ordinance, you have to be in the city of Charlottesville. So I think first place we need to start by the first of the year, we need to let all the other towing companies that's not in the city of Charlottesville know that they have to cease towing in the city of Charlottesville. Because according to the ordinance, it says that the vehicle must be towed to the storage lot in the city.
It does say that. Yeah, it's kind of wild. If my line of work was subject to, one, or in a large way subject to one set of regulations, I think I'd want some input on that regulations. It's kind of surprising they're not engaging with you.
If it wasn't, I'm not, if it wasn't so much of a joke, if the police department was on board with it and supported it, and if the towing board was on board with it and supported it, and if everybody in the city would support it, it wouldn't be a joke to everybody. But it's been a joke to everybody the entire time. Nothing gets enforced. Nothing is abided by. It's been going. I've been going on with this since 2013. So I can tell you 100% it's a joke. The city cares less. The city did this because their hand was forced to do it. And until somebody stands up with the city and actually does something, nobody's going to think any different. And in section 15.423, in F, and it clearly states that an operator must tow each vehicle directly to a storage site in the city and identified by the operator pursuant to subsection 15.420. So anything towed out of the city has to be towed into the city. Nobody else is in the city. Me and Ace is in Charlottesville Record, and Charlottesville Record doesn't do private property towing. So, I think from that standpoint, we need to just get all cards together, and I think we just need to straight out rewrite the whole ordinance and do away with this. And I hope everybody got my message. I have to be off by 2:00.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, saw that.
I know Buzz, you've done a lot of work to try to keep this thing going and get it going, but the more and more it comes down to it, and the more I try to look into stuff and try to do work for everybody else. It's also in the ordinance that each vehicle must be towed to a storage facility within reasonable walking distance. What was it, 4.5 miles out on Avon Street? That's not reasonable walking distance. We was going to just kind of close our eyes on that and push it to the side. But, I think circumstances are circumstances. And if they don't care about it, then why should I?
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll definitely want to take a look at that walking distance. I think, and this is jogging a foggy memory, but I remember the walking distance partly being from the office to the actual location on site where they keep the vehicles. But yeah, Josh, I'd be curious about your feedback around, the way I read Wayne's interpretation about, guys, let's try to, if we're not speaking, let's try to mute. Yeah. I mean, that clause
This is my
about,
first time with it, so y'all got to bear with me on muting and unmuting and stuff.
sure. I'm glad you
That's
figured it
fine. If
out.
it's not quiet where you are, just mute when you're not talking.
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah, Josh,
remember to do that.
how do you read that clause? Because I don't see like a workaround other than like limited enforcement. I mean, it's storage site in the city.
I think we would have to let Allison's office take a look at that, because this was obviously written, whatever it was, 6-8 years ago, or at least adopted. Portions of it at least were adopted 6-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot's changed since then. So when it first started, I mean, it started before I took over the traffic unit in 2016. But it wasn't anything that we really paid much attention to until I took over and was encouraged, that this is something that we have to take a closer look at because it is in city code. So I think we've done, mainly because of your involvement, Buzz, good work to try to keep it going. But the landscape looked totally different when it was written, as far as the number of companies that were involved, the number of companies that were, I think there was maybe only one in the county when it was adopted. So, if any, I don't even remember reading that. You said that was in 420. What section was that?
Yeah, 423F, bottom of page 3.
So I'm just looking at the attachment that you sent, which I know isn't the whole code section. It's just, I guess, the sections that we're looking to change the verbiage in. But yeah, I don't even remember seeing that before, specifically in the city. I mean, unless that is changed, we would have to get a notice out, because half the vehicles on our rotation right now, half the companies on our rotation right now, or more. I mean, we got FBR.
This don't have anything to do with rotation, Josh. This is only private property towing. This ordinance only pertains to private property towing,
Oh, yeah.
nothing with rotation.
Sorry, I'm getting my toes confused.
You got 11 of them, not 10.
Did I say 10
No, you got 11 toes, not 10.
companies?
Yeah, no, I'm just joking with you. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting my private and rotation toes confused, so I may have misspoken there. But yeah, I don't even remember reading that previously, specifically that a storage site in the city. So like I said, unless the city attorney's office changes or recommends a change in that verbiage, we would probably have to look at sending a notice out to anybody that's not located in the city. I think Wayne's actually right on that.
And, I hate to be that way, but it is what it is. And when it comes down to the reasonable walking distance, Buzz, you touched back on that. That's in section 15.424, talking about storage site requirements. And it says a towed vehicle shall not be stored more than a reasonable walking distance from the area where towing and storage fee payments are received.
Right. So it's talking about their office where you actually like fill out their form to receive it, and then wherever in the gate in the back where they can actually retrieve the vehicle. But this whole like city county problem is what this brings up. I mean, it's one thing if you're half a mile away in town, but if you're 5 miles out and maybe you don't want to take an Uber during COVID, you don't have someone else who can drive you out there. I mean, now we're talking about a real pain in the butt.
I'm trying to pull up the whole code section right now to look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I think without looking at it yet, because I'm still locating it, I think what that means is like, so the first one that comes to mind, because they have a lot of private property lots, is Collier's. Like if they used to be located on Fifth Street Southwest, just off West Main. I don't know if you remember that or not, but if they tow a car from First and Market, because they have that lot, a reasonable walking distance is to Fifth and Main to get your car back. I think that's what that's referencing, but
That's what I think it was meant when it was written.
Right.
I understand the way Buzz is reading it. The way Buzz is reading it is like from the location of my office to where I take payment to the location of your storage lot. So it'd be like walking from my office out the door into the storage lot, or walking from the city police department to the downtown garage to be able to pick your car up. I think that's how Josh is reading it. But I think the way it was meant was from the place it was towed from to the storage facility.
yeah, you said that's 424.
Yeah, 15424B.
I'm trying to figure out, in case you guys don't have it handy, here's to all the panelists, the link to the actual full ordinance online.
I've got the printout
You do, nice.
that Josh made Larry deliver.
Mhm.
The one that's printed crooked.
I'm not seeing that in 424.
Line B.
Oh, B. I thought you said D. D's got
B is a boy.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the way that's written, I think that means, like Wayne, if you tow a car, where it's stored and where your office is located, where you actually take payment. Now I know that you can take payment remotely. You guys probably have what do you have, like one of those little square type things where somebody can swipe a card and it goes to the driver's phone or something? Is that how that?
Well, yeah, we use Square, but on private property towing, any type of impounds like that, the card has to be present. So yes, we can take payment remotely, but if the car is already at the storage lot, then they have to be here to pay for it. And
When I say remotely, I mean like you don't have to be physically in the office to pay for your car to get it released. That's what,
right. Yeah, they got it all on the phone.
yeah. So the way I'm reading B, Bravo is shall not be stored more than reasonable. Is that like if Wayne tows a car and he's located on Harris Street, the car can't be stored on Emmett Street. That can't be his storage lot because that's not a reasonable walking distance, in my opinion, from Harris Street to Emmett Street. That's 2.5 miles away. That's not. I think that's the way that reads. It's not talking about where it was towed, where the vehicle was towed from, and where the office or the business is located.
because the overall section is storage site requirements, so it's specific to that.
Yeah, the way I'm reading that is the distance from where you provide payment to where your car is actually stored has to be a reasonable walking distance. But the concerning thing that you guys brought up a few minutes ago is that that storage site has to be located in the city. I mean, it says that.
Yeah.
So that either needs to be changed to accommodate the fact that we have, like, it used to be that 90% of our companies were located in the city. Now 90% of our companies are not located in the city.
10% of your companies is located in the city.
Exactly. So, so that either needs to be changed to accommodate the fact that everybody moved out of the city, most everybody, or we can't allow them to tow cars anymore in the city.
And the city supports who pays city taxes.
What's that?
I said, and then the city gets to support who pays city taxes.
Well, it's
That's
that, and it's, it's also having a reasonable limit about how far someone who got towed has to go out to retrieve that vehicle.
Right.
Because I can tell you right now, my time is more valuable than walking from First and Market to where Colliers is located on Avon. I would call a cab or call an Uber and get a ride out there, because it would take you every bit of an hour, hour and a half to walk all the way out there.
Every bit of it.
So,
Hey, Josh,
yes.
just to give you a little heads up off issue where you brought up the other contracts, the other towing, that's also in the city contract for the towing.
I don't have anything to do with that contract. I've never even seen a copy of it. So we had a small committee, including, Jeremy Hoy, my corporal.
Yeah.
He was looped in on that contract discussion. I think it just came up for renewal within the last month or two. But yeah, I've never even seen a copy of that contract. So, and it's funny because all the tow stuff seems to trickle my way, and I've never even seen a copy of that.
Because you the man.
No.
You the boss.
That's right.
No, that
Applesauce.
stuff rolls downhill. That's how that works.
And like, I've said it multiple times, this whole ordinance needs to be rewritten. And this thing was written in 2011, 2012. And to be trying to enforce this in 2020, 21, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's written old school language. It's written 100 years ago, and it needs to be fixed. So
I think Buzz said it in one of our last meetings before the world got shut down 8 months ago. My personal opinion is I would hate to scrap all the good work that's been done to this point. I think that the 6-page proposed, I think it's 6 pages of proposed changes that he sent out. I think that's a good start. Oftentimes the wheel is not reinvented when these code sections are implemented or adopted. A lot of this was probably taken from another, we had the parking guy come in a while back, and the way they often operate is they find another locality with similar numbers to ours, and they look at their code sections and they adopt large chunks of it that way. And they might tweak a few things that are very specific to our locality, but the point is I would hate to scrap the last year and a half's worth of discussion and tweaks to this to completely start over. I think this is a good first step, but it's not, we haven't arrived by any stretch. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I think it'd be good to push this out, and then depending on how it's received, start working on other proposals.
Well, the way I feel about sending anything to the city, this is the way I feel about it, is if we send this to them and only this to them, and they change this, they're not going to want to do another one in 6 months or in a few months. I feel that it needs to be done and done correct when it's sent to them one time, and that'd be it. Because this towing in the city of Charlottesville is the lowest level that you can get with the city, whoever it goes to. I don't know who it is, city council, whoever it is. It's the lowest level until somebody important starts complaining about it. And that's what brought this on. It was all because of the downtown mall is what brought this on. And there's a lot of things in here in this, what Josh has, Buzz has here to send to him that needs to be corrected is not correct. And that's what I was trying to get through back in February when we had a meeting, and nobody wanted to listen. So, I mean, I'm not agreeing to send this in until it's fixed.
Can you point specifically to things in this 6-page proposed changes that you're saying are not suggestions that we made? Or
Well, one suggestion I made, and then I corrected myself because, and this is the problem with having this stuff, some of this stuff in the ordinance is with the DMV issues. You know, we are steadily fighting DMV, and I had originally said that a lot of places are charging the $150 admin fee just to put $150 on the books, and that, you know, that job can be done for $75. Well, as of right now, I cannot do that job no more. At that time when I said that, DMV was allowing us to do that job myself. But the way DMV has changed their rules now, I have to hire an outside lien processor to do that. And that cost me $150 every time. I think I got one for $125.
can you point to, is that in the changes or is that in the code?
Yeah, that's in the changes.
What page
And
or what section? I mean,
Yeah, it's the last page.
434 G.
G, yeah. Yeah, and I know I don't think we, and probably because of COVID, didn't follow up on this. I think we are comfortable keeping that, Wayne. We just wanted to see like an example of that that lien, I guess, intermediary that you're having to go through.
And I brought it in when at that last meeting, and it didn't matter. It wasn't gonna get changed because it had already been written. So, and that's where y'all wanted to send this copy in without changing that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the biggest things is a lot of people don't realize what the logistics is behind towing. And, you know, for what I have to abide by Department of Motor Vehicles, you know, Colliers are sitting out there steadily doing it the old way and still selling cars the old way, and people can't get titles for them because they're not done correctly, you know. So what do you do? And, you know, and I've even said something to her personally myself, like, you know, you got to go this way. You got to go through a lien processor. No, I'm grandfathered in. You're not grandfathered in. Sorry. That's not the way DMV works. You know, I've got the same token over here in my cabinet, and I can still do it, but it's not done correctly. You know, DMV still allows me to go on there and pull records. Like, you know, I can take a VIN number off any car and find out who the last owner was, get their address, everything. But the whole processing thing, because it's got to go through DMV's website, it's got to be posted, this and that. You can't do it. Individual can't do it. And for James Pickerel, which is our lobbyist for Vatro, he just went to a DMV meeting last week. I'm trying to find the paperwork. I wasn't prepared for that. But January 1, I think it's going to be put in law or whatever DMV law that outside processing only. And so, like, you know, and I don't even know what that dollar amount's gonna wind up being. I don't know if $150 is going to be able to cover it, and that depends on how many certified letters have to be sent out.
Yeah, that's what you just got me thinking on, Wayne, is maybe frame this different instead of saying, you know, shall not exceed this amount, but rather, you know, shall not exceed whatever the towing company has to pay, and they have to provide like proof of that receipt. So that I think the goal is we don't want to set a fee that people are just kind of milking for extra money. But at the same time, if the towing companies have to do this in the kind of more graduated process of the tow, they shouldn't have to be bearing costs that they can't recoup.
Right. And like using the outside processor, like I've got one here on 30-day hold, but it's got a lien on it. So I've got to notify the lien holder. And I've got to notify the lien holder within 5 days, I think. So that's 2 days that I've got the vehicle here that then I have to send, to the lien holder. I have to get my processor to do it where the lien holder can have paperwork within 5 business days. And so after my lot for 2 days, so if I send it to the outside processor 2 days after I tow it in, and then the customer comes in on the 3rd day, I still have to pay that $150 to the outside processor. So that money has to be charged to the customer. They're the ones left for you. Typically, no, I don't do it on impounded vehicles that come from the university, because them kids don't look for their cars for weeks at a time. So I don't do it for that, but I do know other companies that do. Or they say they do.
So certainly flagging this section, because I think it probably needs like a restructuring besides maybe changing that amount. And I know when you have to bounce in like 25 minutes, so probably not able to solve that now.
Right.
Because if we were to come back and take a look at that, and I'd be curious to hear your response to this. I almost wonder if moving forward, fixing that issue and maybe a couple others that you had with how this is written now, but sending that forward to council so we can get that first pass, and with sending that, also notify all the towing companies, pointing to the fact that their storage site needs to be within the city. Basically, like giving them that notice, be like, hey, you guys are out of compliance. We don't know what we're going to do about it yet, but you need to come to the table and engage with us. I think that could be a decent forcing mechanism for whatever future version of this revision of the ordinance we do.
Well, I would say the first thing we need to do, like I said, I don't want to send anything to the city for them to look over and then say, okay, stamp, good, go, we'll do it. And then something else gets written in the ordinance wrong. And then there's something else that we need to change 3-6 months from now. And they're going to, it's going to be like, well, we just went through this. We're not going to do it again. And then we're set out years before we can get back in there. And I know Josh said something about the way that you've been working on it is probably why it's been so opened up. But hey, I've been working on it since 2013, and ain't nobody listened to a tow truck driver. Don't nobody care about the towing business. So that's where I'm at, and I know how the city works. I've been dealing with it since 1995. Y'all been dealing with it for a couple of years. I think it just needs to be rewritten, proposed to them, and if they'll go with the rewrite, then it is what it is, and only and with the towing advisory board, if we can just write on this stuff once every 2 months, it doesn't work. If there's times where we can get together and we don't have to be sitting at the city to do it. I don't know why it's got to be so private, because right now it's not private. It's put out on social media everywhere right now, is what the guy said a little while ago, if I ain't mistaken, that it's being broadcasted. So it's nothing private about it. I don't know why.
It has to be made public.
Right.
Because it's considered a city board, so it has to be made public, and we have to cross all the T's and dot the I's. So
yeah, but we're not supposed to talk about it amongst each other if we see each other.
If it operates the same way as the city council meetings and other boards do, which I assume it does, then I think you and I can have a conversation. But any more than that, we start to get into the rules and regulations of how boards and commissions are bonded and guided.
Right. I think we can change that rule now. It's 2020. I think I don't see why it's got to be. What difference does it make?
That's going to be an even heavier lift than changing the policy on private property tows. I can guarantee you that.
Right. It's either that or we just leave it like it is, because don't nobody do nothing about it at all anyway. Nobody enforces anything. So, either we do it and rewrite the whole thing and get it changed, one shot in, one shot go, or we just leave it the way it sits, let it be crappy. It don't work for nobody, doesn't support nobody, and nobody enforces it. So I don't know which other way to go. I don't know which is the best way to go. My opinion is rewrite the entire ordinance and hand it to them. So this is what we want. It's what I've been trying to do since 2013. Not just 6 paragraphs.
So what might be helpful, I don't think we're going to solve this at this meeting. What might be helpful, Wayne, is between now and our next meeting, if you can call out the sections that you want to spend some time revising, rather than us trying to do like a complete rewrite. I think I'd rather keep this as the thing we adjust off of, because if you ask me to come up with this from scratch, like I don't know if any of us could do that. You call out like everything in here that doesn't work for you, and then that can be the agenda for our next meeting, is go through that and figure out the best version to move forward with.
I guess it doesn't matter. Like I said, the entire thing, or leave it the way it is, because nobody enforces anything. Which one you want? That's the only way I'm gonna agree to it. We either rewrite the entire ordinance, or we leave it the way it is, because nothing gets enforced anyway.
So I think I'm interested in, and it sounds like Josh is interested too in making it as strong as possible. And I think kind of taking whatever things you want to change on it. There are things like, I mean, this is going to sound flip, and I don't really mean it that way, but like the first section, like must contain reflective letters and reflective graphics. Like, I don't know if we need to do a complete rewrite on that. I think a lot of this is going to be the bare bones that are there one way or another. But if I know specifically which sections need to be tossed out, which need to be addressed, or what we need to add, that would be helpful, rather than like, all right, I got a blank sheet of paper, we're going to start writing it. Unless you want to take a pass, if you want to bring us like a brand new thing from scratch. I just don't know that's within the purview of the board.
So, I mean, I'll go through it, but I don't know if it's gonna be ready by the time next time we have a meeting. But I'm gonna go through the entire ordinance, and every section of it is what I'm gonna put in to be rewritten. It's not just this 6-page that you have here.
Yep.
It's the entire thing. There's no need to just send them 6 pieces of paper when the whole ordinance is 12 sheets. There's something that needs to be fixed on every page of that ordinance.
Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm
then-
100% sure there's nothing.
So then you
I mean,
should
there's
be
a lot
able
of
to.
stuff.
You
I'm
should
sorry,
be
go
able
ahead.
to. You should be able to go section by section. Then, similar to what we have here in this 6 pages, you should be able to go section by section then, and make notes, even in the margins, of everything that you have an issue with, or everything that you want to see changed, or additions you want to, create, or whatever the case may be. You should be able to go section by section and do that. If you think it needs to be, the whole thing needs to be changed. I'm of the opinion that it's an easier ask to make a couple of small, or not a couple of small. I mean, if you say the whole thing is 12 pages, I don't have it on paper. I'm looking at it.
I just guessed. I just said 12 pages.
Yeah, but if it's 6 pages of suggestions, I'm of the opinion that that's a good it's a good start to put before city council, with the understanding that this is by no means complete. These are just the most glaring things that we've identified that we want to change initially, and there's more to come. Even if we are only able to successfully get changes in front of them, every 6 months, that's still something. And if we go through the process that they mandate, which, Allison can help walk us through that process. I think Buzz understands it a little bit. I know Rob understood it fairly well. If we go through that process, they have to entertain it. I know there are certain things that take precedence in their meetings, but they have to look at it. These city council meetings don't go for 6-7 hours sometimes without them having to take a hard look at a lot of things. In some cases, I'm sure they don't want to. So I think that this is a good first step, with the understanding it's by no means complete, and and there's more to come. Some of the most glaring things. Like I remember the first time I read it, that the way it's worded, you're basically not allowed to call the police to have a car towed out of your driveway unless you have signs posted, which is ludicrous to me. So some of the most glaring things that we wanted to change, I think, are impacted in this document that Buzz sent us. And I think it's a good start, with the caveat that this is a work in progress. We're by no means done. We're going to get more changes before you, in the coming months or year. I just hate to scrap the work that has been put into this to this point. Because honestly,
I hate it too, but
if you were to rewrite it from scratch, no one's going to just reinvent the wheel. You're going to pull another ordinance that you like, and you're going to try to pull verbiage and sections and issues that need to be addressed from that ordinance that you like. So it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just finding something that you like better, as far as what's covered and how it's worded. I do think, to the point about being located in the city, that needs to be addressed, probably with the start of 2021. They need to either be notified or that sentence needs to be tweaked to allow other companies to continue to operate, because the way it's worded right now. But they would obviously have to be given notice, and there would have to be a time period for them to either get in compliance or make preparation to be removed from the ability to tow within the city. That's something we need to get to the city attorney, like, in the next couple of weeks, so they can look at it.
the city attorney's here, ain't they?
It's hard. It's hard for me to say on any given day who's here and who's not. The last 8 months have been ridiculous.
On this meeting.
Oh,
No.
no, she's not here today. So
That's why Teresa was on there.
no, Teresa works for the city manager. She's not a city attorney.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know where to go from, because, like, I mean, the way I word stuff and put it down, and, like, I mean, if me and Buzz could get together one day and just knock heads and sit here and say, okay, this is what needs to be said and done here and there and there and there. But according to the rules and regulations, we can't. But we got to put all this out to the public. The public gets to see us sit here and argue back and forth, but we can't just get together and shoot this stuff down.
I mean, I think we can get together and do that. We just got to have this Zoom feed up so anyone can log in and watch it.
Is there any reason why, if it's just the two of you, you can't do that in a Google document? Put your comments in there. And I mean, if there's no other people, if it's just the two, I think if you're working on a document that you're going to bring forward to the committee, I'll double check with the city attorney to make sure that it's legal to do. But if it's just the two of you working on that Google document with your comments, I don't see the problem with that, but I'll ask Allison.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, or like Buzz said, on a Zoom like this, where it can be, noted public and broadcasted public, whatever.
Yeah, assuming that would be okay, Wayne, what I'll probably do is just take the whole ordinance as it is now, put it in a Google Doc so we can both make edits to it and see each other's edits, and or make highlights or whatever, and start working through it that way.
Man, you asking a sixth grader to work on a college level.
That was some of my pause. I was like, oh man. No, I think we can do it though.
I'll try anything.
Okay. But yeah, I agree with Josh. I mean, regardless of kind of what our path forward is to getting the suggested revisions up to council, I think we need to get the storage site within city limits issue up the flagpole. And Teresa, I don't know if that's something I need to reach out to Allison about or what that looks like.
I can shoot her an email. I don't know. I'm gonna walk back there to see if she's even here today. She might
Okay.
be outside, but I'll give her a call.
So Wayne, you got about 10 minutes left before you got to run. Is there anything either Buzz or Wayne? Because once Wayne goes, I don't think we have a quorum, right? So
Right.
We kind of got to wrap it up when Wayne goes.
Right.
I mean, we can probably have less formal conversation about everything when he goes, but I don't think we can officially continue to meet. But Wayne, is there anything specifically you want to discuss or look at in your remaining minutes?
I mean, I guess that's it. I mean, just like we'll edit this draft and like Buzz said, he can email that to me. We'll get that edited. I don't think there's nothing else I need to add, not right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
nothing that won't be added to the draft, that I can think of.
Who do you got coming out there with you today?
So we got section 424 B Bravo. Oh, no. That was a different, I'm sorry. That was a different point. Where's the section about located in the city?
423 F
420.
is in Frank. 423.
So 423 F.
Yeah, 423 F Frank.
All right. So that's a big issue that we need to address or give them notice that we're going to begin enforcing. And that can just be, Buzz, you can probably just shoot that back to, is that in the 6-page amendment document?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so you can probably shoot that to Allison and just say, hey, we have to change this, or
Right.
to verbiage that they are okay with. Or
But
I
we
guess
can't just change it without sending it to city council, right?
No, it would all just be a proposed change, but it's got to go from what we want, ideally, into legalese, which none of us speak, including myself. And then that documents, once they legalese it, then we gotta put our, give it the thumbs up, and then we would go through the process to get it on the schedule for city council.
So I guess until it can be, I guess the way I would see it right now, and would get everybody off of their butts, is I guess send it to Allison and say, hey, we're going to enforce this because they're not in the city. November 30th, they will no longer be able to tow cars in the city of Charlottesville to outside the city of Charlottesville until this is rewritten.
I mean,
that would be enforcing the code.
I don't want to definitively give a time frame as to when we're going to start enforcing that. Let me just read this one more time. Yeah, I don't want to definitively weigh in on right now on a time frame for them to come into compliance. That's something that probably people higher than any of us should weigh in on, but that can be a question maybe we pose also, like, hey, we have to either allow them time to adapt to the fact that this is in here and we're going to have to start enforcing it, or this verbiage needs to be changed to something that we think is recommended and they are able to put into legalese that we all like. But in the meantime, like, we don't have to just allow this to be a 6-month process to either begin enforcing it or get the verbiage changed. We can say, like, okay, we're going to give them 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is, to either come into compliance, or they can't tow in the city anymore because they would be in violation. We can certainly get the notice out to them, whatever that time frame is, while the changes are being made and proposed.
So that's what I was saying. Like,
any change would
you
have to
gotta-
go through city council. So that in itself is going to be a, minimum probably 2 or 3 month process to get something in front of them.
So that's what I was saying is like, I mean, I know it's gonna be a time period before this, whatever draft goes in and gets approved, because our legal meetings are every 2 months. So if Allison was to rewrite it today, we couldn't agree on it until 2 months from now. And then, like I said, there's no need in sending one thing to city council. So, and then however long it takes city council to approve it, then we got to wait another 2 months for our next meeting. So you're looking 6-8 months there. But what I was saying is, I would say that the companies need to be notified that on a date, you're no longer going to be able to tow outside the city of Charlottesville because you're outside of the ordinance. The verbiage is already there. The legalese is already written, black and white. It needs to be enforced. And let them know that this is not a joke. That's the problem. That's why we can't get no help from no other towing company. And that's why nobody abides by this ordinance. It's a joke. And unless what's written in black and white gets enforced, it's never gonna be nothing but a joke. I'll show you the email I sent everybody when I did a Google Meets meeting, tried to do it with all the record services. Big bold letters. I said, it's only a joke if we allow it to be. This is our life. This is how we make our living. This is what we do. If we allow it to be a joke, it's going to be a joke. And that's why I'm going to stand up to it. So unless somebody wants to step up as outside of the city limits and help, then I don't care. They can be shut off. Black and white, the law states you have to tow it to the city of Charlottesville. So they need to be shut down. Done. Somebody needs to step up and enforce it. And we don't have to wait for Allison to approve it. We don't have to wait for nobody to approve it. It's in the code. It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, certainly how it's written, and I think letting them know, letting kind of the towing community know, this is newly on everyone's radar. There is a desire to implement this or enforce it. We don't exactly know what that's going to look like. So I'm guessing they're not going to enforce it tomorrow as it's written and make everyone kind of change where they do business, but that it's going to be taken seriously, and then leave it up to the powers that be what that's going to look like. Yeah, I mean, I generally
That's the
agree.
problem. The powers that be doesn't enforce this ordinance. Just like the whole ordeal with Aces down there, overcharging people and everything. I've hand delivered receipts, everything. Nothing gets enforced. They do it every day, which gives me a bad name, my business a bad name. I get 20 phone calls a day because he's not legitimate enough to post his phone number everywhere. So people can call him instead of just picking up the phone and looking at Google, and Google gives them my phone number. Getting the city ordinance enforced, nobody, excuse me, Teresa, nobody has the gonads to do it. And I have no idea why. And it's just as simple. It's the bottom of the barrel. You wipe it off your shoes every time you walk through the grass. Nobody cares about the towing ordinance. It's a joke.
Well, on that note, well, I'll get with Allison and let her know about this and start moving on that enforcement. I mean, certainly what we could start doing, I know we did a couple of audits last year, kind of end of year as a warning. I mean, in theory, we could start doing those, and we're gonna fine you as we find things, which I think would be good. I think that would speak to some of the issues that you're talking about, Wayne.
So I guess December 17th is our next scheduled meeting of what we said at the beginning of the year. And, I'm gonna say it as the only towing person on the board. I guess if it's not enforced by November 30th, then I'm done. The board will be over with because there ain't gonna be no board. You know, if me being the spokesperson for the towing community, if we can't get something enforced on here, I don't know what else to do. I mean, I don't know who I have to go to. Do I have to go stand in front of city council and tell them that the city of Charlottesville cannot enforce an ordinance? So why should we have the ordinance?
When we send Allison this issue that's like Buzz said, it's just popped up on the radar, and we've been looking at this thing pretty hard for 2 years now, and that's the first time I'm remembering even seeing it. But
I've said it before, but I was hoping that the other businesses would back me up and help me out, and I wouldn't have to go this route. I've said it multiple times. This contract is written for the city of Charlottesville. The vehicles have to stay inside the city of Charlottesville. It was towed from the city of Charlottesville, has to stay inside the city of Charlottesville. That's why it's in black and white. It's legit. It's legal. That's why it was put in there. Has to happen.
I don't remember having that discussion.
Because in 2012, when this went in effect, over at Taylor's, they used to tow from up on JPA, and they had to stop towing from JPA because their storage lot was not in the city no more because of the private property towing ordinance.
Yeah, like you said, like Buzz said, this is just popped on our radar today. It's the first time I'm hearing any discussion about it. It's the first time I've read it myself. When we send this email to the city attorney's office, recommending that they take a hard look at this, I think we'll also seek guidance for how long we want to, what kind of grace period we want to give people to get into compliance. If there's any kind of legal time period they need to be given, or if it's just like, no, you can start enforcing this tomorrow, but I think it's reasonable to give them, 2 weeks or 30 days or 60 days, whatever the recommendation is from them. I think that's what we need to do. So we'll do all that. We'll do all that in one push. We'll send Allison's office this kind of red flag, and then also seek guidance on how long we want to give them to get into compliance, or if it's simple enough to change the verbiage, because our acting city manager is the city attorney. So he might be able to just say, no, I don't need to consult them on that. That's something that we need to enforce right now, or I can change that sentence with a flick of a pen. I don't know how he'll do that.
It better not be able to be changed by a flick of a pen, but then I'm really gonna have a problem, because already, so in order to enforce any ordinance in the city of Charlottesville, you got to get approval by the city attorney?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't have to have, he don't have to be involved. It's in black and white. It's the law. It's the rule. It has to be enforced. I gotta go. So I mean, there's no reason to go and ask anybody. If you go and ask anybody, you're helping everybody else out.
If
you
people
give them what they want, it's a joke.
If people have been allowed to operate a certain way for years and years and years, I don't think it's really fair or prudent to just one day tell them, okay, you can't do this anymore. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to adjust to the fact that this is how it needs to be moving forward. So I think
they knew it. They had the ordinance since 2012. They knew it. They just didn't read it. They threw it in the trash can. That's why none of them have it.
How many other company owners do you know that have poured over this thing like you have?
That's my job. I don't care that they don't take their job seriously and that they think this towing board's a joke. I mean, that's just black and white proof right there. It's not going to get enforced. Where else do we go from here?
I think we know how you feel about it. So,
I mean, I've had one of your officers stand here in my office. I've got him on video telling me that the towing advisory board's a joke. So
you're telling me that like I should think that that's okay.
But when we have to sit here and ask permission to enforce something that's black and white, the law, the rule, you got, okay, give them time. That's not, I didn't say go out there today and tell them to shut down. You know, November 30th. If you can't be in compliance within November 30th, then right now that you're not going to be able to tow private tows at the city of Charlottesville anymore until we can come up with something to rewrite this ordinance and get it sent to city council.
I think that's reasonable, but we need to run it by the city attorney's office before we just matter of
Why
fact.
do you have to run it by the city's attorney's office? The city ordinance, I run 25 mile an hour down East Market Street, but I still get wrote a ticket when I get caught doing it.
I want to make sure that we're not violating anything that I'm not aware of, because they're attorneys.
They're the ones that wrote this.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm just going to tell you that that's how I think we should handle it. And until they tell me otherwise, I think that's a prudent way to handle it. 30 days or whatever it is, 40 days is plenty of notice, in my opinion. But I want to make sure that we're not doing anything wrong.
I don't see how it could be wrong when the lawyer wrote it.
I mean, Wayne, the God's honest truth is you've been dealing with this since 2012. Another 30 days is not gonna kill you, right?
I'm the one that said November 30th, but I just don't understand why we have to have permission to tell them that. Why do we have to go to the city attorney and the city manager?
Because I want to check with
ask
them
permission
before we proceed on that. Because we're
and we
essentially
have to ask.
drawing a line in the sand, and I want to make sure that we are on good legal footing to do that. So
They're the ones that put it in writing. And I will have the same argument with them. If they say, no, we can't do that, I want to talk to them. I want to know why, because the city attorney and the city manager is the one that put this in writing.
I think we have the same goal here. We just want to make sure that we're implementing it correctly. So let's go get that feedback and say, hey, we need to start enforcing this as soon as possible without infringing on something we might not understand, and kind of knowing the November 30th as the target, Wayne. And in the meantime, I'll kick out the Google link to you guys, the Google Doc. It needs a little bit of reformatting from the copy paste, but we'll have the whole current ordinance there so we can start punching it up and highlighting and making notes about things we want to do differently.
So on that Google Doc, Buzz.
Yep.
Like, I mean, is it gonna be a video where we can video, or that way we can, like, you know, because if I mark through something and I rewrite it, I'm gonna write it in my language. And
yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna say this. So you understand what I'm saying? Is it could be where, like, I can shoot you a text and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or does it all 100% gotta be on Google or a Zoom meet?
no, it's
Can
just
you
it's just a document that you can make edits to back and forth.
Yeah. Can you see my screen share right now, Wayne?
Yeah.
So basically what I got here is I just copied and pasted the whole ordinance in here. And if you
Right.
come in here and we can do this, the two of us, we'll like walk through it. We do this like suggestion. So I'll come in here and be like, I don't want to call it advisory board anymore. I want to call it, towing authority, whatever. Like I can start to make edits. It's not final, but it like shows who suggested it and what they're trying to do.
Okay.
So yeah, we can take a
So
pass at
that'll
this
show you
offline.
that I suggested it versus Josh suggested it.
Correct.
All right. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. If we can't, then we'll just have to have a Zoom meeting and get it made public or whatever, so that we can. Well, I mean, I can hit you on Facebook and we go Facebook Live with each other. That's public. As long as it's public, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Many ways to cut it up. Okay.
I guess if it doesn't look right, you'll have to tell me that. I don't know.
I'll check with Allison about that for the two of you.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That way it doesn't tie up all the cities, doing what they got to do. All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Sorry I had to be
Good
up
day,
front again.
Thanks, Wayne. No, good to hear your perspective. I'll reach out to Allison about the enforcement and CC you guys on it.
Okay.
Sounds good. Are we wrapping for today?
Yeah, I think so.
And do we want to try to keep that December 17th as our next target?
I think it works for me. Let me pull it up real quick.
That's fine with
I
me.
guess
I mean,
not-
unless there's something else they had to come up and we have to do.
Hey, Teresa,
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, Josh, it's Joe. Teresa looks like she signed off.
Oh.
What do you need?
I was just going to ask if there's any indication that we might actually be able to meet like humans at some point in the near future.
Right now, it's not approved by council. So right now, all
Thanks,
meetings.
Josh. Josh, be safe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
See you, Wayne.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Joe, good meeting.
Yep, nice meeting you. Hey, Josh, currently all meetings are virtual. The next phase will be a hybrid option, perhaps. But all that would be pushed through council as far as those decisions and when that'll be happening. So currently the next meeting you said would possibly be the 17th of December.
That's what we scheduled when we put all our meetings in for the whole year at the beginning of the year or
Right.
late last year. So that's what's on my calendar right
Okay.
now.
Well, just go ahead and email Teresa, let her know, just a reminder of that date so she can plug you in, and we'll just have this Zoom meeting scheduled for you at that time.
I can't wait.
And in case, unless anything changes until then. So.
Yeah, it works for my calendar now.
All right,
Buzz,
guys.
you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Thanks,
All right.
Buzz. We'll see you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
See you.